Good morning everyone, my name is Fauzia Akonita and today I will present my mini research titled The Influence of Reading Habits on Writing Development Among 5th Semester Students of Sriwijaya University in English Education major. As we all know, writing is a very complex process because we have to create. This study is investigating whether reading habits actually influence students' writing development. Let's jump into the problems. The problem I focus on this research is the influence of reading habits on students' writing development. Many students read English materials, but not all of them realize how reading habits can actually support their writing skills. There are 3 main objectives in this research. First, to find out how students' reading habits affect their writing development. Second, to identify which aspects of writing such as vocabulary, grammar, coherence, or ideas are most influenced by reading. And third, to understand students' perceptions of how reading contributes to their writing ability. For this research, I used a mixed method approach combining quantitative and qualitative data. The participants were 5 5th semester students from the English Education major who answered the questionnaire, and 3 of them were interviewed for deeper understanding. The instruments were a Google Form questionnaire consisting of 14 Likert scale statements and an interview with 5 open-ended questions. For the data analysis, the questionnaire results were analyzed using percentages, while the interview data were analyzed thematically to identify common ideas. Based on the questionnaire, most students strongly agreed that reading improves their vocabulary, grammar, and idea generation. 80% strongly agreed, 15% agreed, and 5% were neutral. This means almost all students feel that reading directly supports their language development. For the next category, which is writing clarity, organization, and writing style, 55% strongly agreed, 20% agreed, 15% were neutral, and 10% disagreed. Although most responses are positive, a small number of students still feel uncertain about how reading affects their coherence and flow. The next category is reading habits. 57% strongly agreed that they read frequently and pay attention to language features in the text. 24% agreed, 14% were neutral, and 5% disagreed. This shows that most students have positive reading habits. So, from the questionnaire, I can conclude that most students read regularly either daily or weekly. 95% agreed that reading improves vocabulary, grammar, and idea generation. 75% agreed that reading helps them write more clearly and develop their writing style, and overall, 81% show positive reading habits. Next, I will explain the result from the interview. From the first question, students mentioned that they read different types of English materials, such as novels, articles, comics, and fan fiction. Some read every day, and some read several times a week. For the second question, all participants said that reading helps them improve vocabulary, learn sentence structure, and understand how ideas are organized. For the third question, each student could remember a moment when something they read influenced their writing. For example, using expressive language from a romance novel or using topic sentences and supporting details from an academic article. For the challenges, they mentioned difficulties in using new vocabulary correctly, understanding complex grammar, and adjusting from informal reading material to formal academic writing. And for the last question, all 3 interviewees strongly believe that reading regularly can make someone a better writer because it gives inspiration, input, and examples of good writing. In summary, the interview results support the questionnaire findings. Students said that reading gives inspiration, helps them learn sentence structure, and expands vocabulary. The main challenges include using new vocabulary correctly and adapting from informal reading to formal writing. All interviewees agree that reading regularly can make someone a better writer. So, in conclusion, reading habits have a positive influence on students' writing development. Frequent and mindful reading helps improve vocabulary, grammar, coherence, and writing confidence. Therefore, students should read English texts regularly, both for academic and personal purposes, to naturally improve their writing skills. These are some documentation photos taken during the process of interview. And that was all from me. Thank you for listening.